Our next evaluator, I guess that's
Bob.
no.
Yes.
Bob, you're an evaluator?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Bob.
Good. Bob.
Bob evaluating Bob.
Yes, Bob evaluating Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow Toastmasters, guests, especially Bob. Bob's project tonight, he was working from a manual project called Keep Them Laughing. Did he keep you laughing? Sure he did. Sure he did. First of all, you know, he used an opening that said, "If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake." So he got us chuckling right away, but he also got us feeling, those of us visiting the club or visiting from another club, got us feeling welcome. What a great opening. So I thought, Bob, that worked very, very well. He used some standard jokes, but he did some original stuff too. Like, he talked about the cake shows, and he said, if there was a pie show, what would we have? Pimp My Pie? Pimp My Pie? So, you know, he was doing some, not only doing transitions between his many jokes that he had borrowed from someplace, but certainly he had some very original stuff in there too. Pimp My Pie, a crumb to crumb showdown, referring to tarts as the illegitimate offspring of pie. Very, very, very effective. Yeah. And he used terms like, what are you? How many times? But he made the point, you know, what are you? So I thought that was all very, very effective. Where I thought he had a great opening, and he had some wonderful joke story, original material that he held together so very, very well. I didn't recognize truly a sort of a closed part of that presentation. It was a string of things that kept me entertained, kept me laughing, but I didn't see a wrap up. So I would have liked to see a wrap up. My other point was, although it was very effective, I didn't think it worked. It wasn't very effective for debating. They give me this sheet, I'm a judge too, where you mark down points made for during each presentation. And it was, if you're trying to be humorous, it's tough to make a point sometimes when you're trying to beat down the other people in a debate. So I found it, I didn't think it was an effective choice for debating. An effective choice for presentation, but didn't work as well for debating as I thought it might. But I love the presentation, and it entertained me.
Thank you, Bob. I knew I could always trust on you for a good evaluation. Our final evaluator, Deji.
Nice you said that for me too.
Wow.
I liked it. I liked it.
Who's the general evaluator? Are you catching all that?
But I knew you were coming at it.
Yeah.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome, guys. I'm here to evaluate Dennis's speech out of the Persuasive Speaking Manual. He's doing speech number, for sure. Oh, number 2, project number 2. Conquering the cold call. Now, he approached me before he actually went up and spoke, and he said this is not really a good, doesn't fit his speech pattern, the speech he's going to be really doing, so I kind of copy-pasted bits in. First off, his information was exceedingly well researched. He was quoting stuff, and not even just out of books. He even researched quotes. He brought up Marie Antoinette and the history behind her quote and several others. He also, nursery rhymes and other stuff, he looked into their history as well. And the problem that I had with his speech was he didn't, and I'm pretty sure it was basically off one side presented their information as to why pies were better than cakes, and the other side contradicted why cakes were not that good. And he had that part. But he did not seem to justify his point very much, and it was always against the opposition without providing much evidence for his case. I loved how he carried his, it seemed very well wrapped up, beginning, middle, end. He started off with all-encompassing matters, and then finished off on similar terms. He cited cakes as a sin. He did. Covering almost all of them. Lust, greed, vanity, pride. And he looked at it in other ways I wouldn't even consider it. And had tons of historical evidence behind it. It was an excellent speech, and I would love to hear more from him, but I can't. Chairman.
We're running a little ahead of schedule, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't need table topics. If we finish a little early, that's okay. Now, should we have the general evaluator before the winners, or do you want the winners now?
Winners now.
You're the chair.
You're the chairman.
Fine, we'll have winners now. The judges went out, or I should say the chief judge and the counter went out, did some analysis on how many points were recorded by each of the individuals. Now, each of the individuals had a different way of giving points, but as long as they were fair with all four of them, it didn't matter that somebody, one judge had twice as many points as another judge, as long as they were fair with everyone. The result is a fairly close vote of 77 to 67 in favor of the affirmative.
Yeah, really.
I gotta tell you, I really like some of that negative stuff. That was just beautiful. Good as yours, some of them. Some of that stuff was good, and I really want to appreciate or convey my appreciation to Positively Speaking for contributing to this meeting. Having said that, we now need a general evaluator to tell us how the meeting went. And she can step on my toes too, I suppose.
She might not be
One of
able to
the
get
joint
closer.
members, the dual members of the two clubs, Nayla Scott, is our general evaluator.
Mr. Chairman, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. It was a very good meeting, I felt. It was quite entertaining, and thank you guys for hosting the debate with our club. And thank you for our club for coming. That was very good. Both clubs. I belong to both.
So you're
club here.
As well, yeah. I really, in terms of how the rules went, I felt that it went quite well, except in the rebuttal. Joe introduced the birthday cakes originated from Flans. That was a little bit a break of the rules, and Andrew introduced the cake with pictures on it and rice cakes. So those were two things that in the rebuttal you were introduced. Yes?
I bet they differ because they introduced the birthday cakes. I was just rebutting. Because it's not a cake, it's actually pie. Pie.
Oh, okay.
What about the McDonald's?
But Andrew still did break the rules of introducing that picture.
No, I was rebutting the Reese cakes. The reason just Reese cakes.
So you're allowed to rebut what Joe just said now.
One of them brought in something about McDonald's during the rebuttal.
It was Bob.
Actually, no.
It was me.
It was Joe.
It was Joe.
You're fired!
Anyways, I would like to talk about the evaluators now. This is the thing. Moving right along. Don't want to be here till midnight. All right, so Carol. Loved Carol's evaluation. And I know there is a lot of love between her and Elmer. It was evident by the way she treated Elmer. And how Elmer interrupted her. And how she didn't like it. But it's all out of love, I know. Those two go back many years. I'm not gonna interrupt.
Well, now we're curious.
In the middle of this beautiful relationship. No, not me, no. Now, continuing on. I like the way that she read the objectives. That was very nice because then we know what the speech was supposed to be about. For our guests here that don't know, wasn't it helpful that you knew what it was that she was trying to figure out, right? Then I love the tips, and I felt that the conclusion, the way she did the speak, the evaluation was so good because she had a beginning, a middle, and an end, even a conclusion that tied into the beginning. I noticed that. Way to go. Like it. No tips. It was very good. Pam mentioned the main objective. And I like the fact that you presented the good things that you liked about the speech, and also the fact that he didn't tie in to talk too much about the cakes, right? But what I really think you should concentrate a little bit more is how he delivered the speech. Not what he said, but more like what he should have done when he was delivering the speech. But pretty good, just to say. Bob mentioned the objectives as usual, gave wonderful tips, and even mentioned that Bob should have chosen a different book, which is true. But it was good. I really had a lot of fun. No tips for Bob, sorry Bob. Dadgie. I like the fact that Dadgie had very good points about the speech. But I feel that you should concentrate on talking more to the group as opposed to the chairman. You had more concentration on the chairman than on the rest of the group. But your points were well taken. And that's it. That concludes my evaluation.
You have a question, sir?
The general evaluator didn't comment on the debate, though. Just on the
Do
evaluator.
you have any comment? Well, of course, she doesn't know what the judging was like, because
Yeah.
she didn't see any of the judges' forms.
Okay.
Do you have any comments on the debate?